We're going to talk about the latest Ekahau product updates and some extra insights. And we're going to talk about some of the things we released a little while ago where we said, well, hey, these are some of the new feature sets we got going on. And what's going to be a treat for you is I get to show you guys something that nobody's seen yet. So this is a cool thing, right? So now, who was on the line today? Well, me. I'm Stu from Vancouver. I'm the Pacific Northwest, and it is a 9 p.m. And of course, I will let Anna introduce herself. Anna, why don't you take it away?
Thank you, Stu. Hi, hello everyone from Asia Pacific. Most probably most of you would have known me. So we have a lot of we're gonna have fun for today. So as Stu has mentioned, we're gonna cover a lot of topics that are exciting topics for today. So welcome everyone and thank you. So let us know in the chats what you want to know. Let us know in the Q&A box what you wanted to ask. So yes, let's all have fun today. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Okay, so so before we get started, there was actually Anna, we have a and something new that we've added in our journey kind of interacting with customers. And I want to take this time just to just kind of put a call out there to our public Slack group. So if you're familiar with using Slack as a kind of a communication engine to talk amongst peers and whatnot, or maybe using it at your company today. Slack is great because we've actually created a public Slack group. It's the Ekahau public Slack group. So this is your chance to actually get involved in the conversation and interact with our dev team or product managers, and also myself and Matt and do the trainers as well. And of course, Anna's there, and along with Maverick. So get in there, and if you need to ask questions in there, don't be afraid. We've got several channels all set up. So use a QR code there. It'll take you to the site, or just go to ekahau.com/Slack, enter the
Right.
relevant information, and then you'll be good to go. And then we'll send you the invite over to our Slack channel. And so have a good look at that.
Exciting. So I know for sure there's a lot of you who's been asking me about like a community where you can actually engage, share your experience with others or actually ask questions. So this is the
Yep.
channel finally. So take a screenshot of this one and then we'll see you at in our Slack channel.
Yes, absolutely. Because and what we also do is like we're kind of almost like 24/7, right? I kind of do the crossover in answering questions as much as I can. And of course, Anna and Maverick are always there, and Raymond, they can also kind of chime in as well. So please, use the group as much as you can, because it's great. It's faster than email, believe it or not, right? We get inundated with email today, and now we're inundated with instant messaging. So all right. So without further ado, let's talk about what some of the things that kind of a review. Now, I know most of you here are probably know Ekahau, what we do, and what some of the cool stuff that we have. But why don't we kind of talk about some of the three things that we have here? So why don't we start us off here? So Anna, we've got three things here from our product suite, right? I mean, we're going to talk about a little bit of kind of AI Pro, the Sidekick 2, and why don't you kind of just give me just a brief summary of kind of the Ekahau subscription itself, like the Ekahau Connects area. Like, what is that? How are you seeing? How does that? Like, what's included in there? Maybe just give a quick overview for our viewers today.
Yes, of course. Actually, in the Ekahau product suite, I always give a lot of focus on the Ekahau Connect subscription. I think among these three, this is like the richest component of our Ekahau Connect of the Ekahau product suite. It's because it includes a lot of things. So of course, number one, if you have the Ekahau Connect subscription, you'll have the access to the updates. So Ekahau, we always release new updates. So not just the not just new version of the software, new version of the firmware, but we also release a lot of new things, new features that you can take advantage of. So as long as you have a valid support subscription or Connect subscription, then you can actually upgrade and take advantage of that. But it doesn't stop there. Of course, it also has the access to the support team. So anytime you will be needing any assistance from our support team, we'll be able to assist you as long as you have the Ekahau Connect subscription. But the main highlight of the Ekahau Connect subscription is the new things or the new products that we will be releasing. So that's right. So it doesn't only focus on updates, new features, but also it will give you access to the new products that we will be releasing. So I'll just give you a quick spoiler. Of course, you may already know the Ekahau AI Pro Online that we have released. We have the Ekahau Optimizer. And today's two will be giving you lots of new information about what's new with the Ekahau AI Pro Online. So all in all, it gives you support, new features, new products, updates, but also like anything new with Ekahau you can take advantage of as long as you have the Valid Connect subscription.
Absolutely, that's great, and remember, these is kind of this is a one-time investment too, right? Like you're setting up your software, you've got just a subscription, and that enables all those feature sets. And we're going to talk about, what do we start with? Kind of that, we've got all our products, we've got everything ready to go, but where do we go from here, right? Like now we're going to get out in the field and start looking kind of at a design. So I'm going to talk about kind of the cool things that we're doing from a design perspective. Now, one of the first things that when we get in kind of design, and we're going to cover our product set here quickly, is that we get into kind of that coverage, right? So when you're out and designing in the field, one of the things that you need to be cognizant of is actually coverage, right? It's all about getting a Wi-Fi signal to where it needs to be, right? And we need to make sure that we get secondary coverage as well. And so just in case of an AP failure. So this is really, really important, right? Now you can't judge how many APs you need, but we need to understand where they're going to be placed. And we're going to be doing that with AI Pro and AI Pro Online, right? So what happens when we need to start to paint that coverage, right? Do we need to worry about the wall sets and whatnot? Well, yeah, we do, right? And we're going to take a look at two different ways of looking at this. So one of the ways that we look at this is that we figure out is that how can we make sure that that we're looking at what happens to RF, right? When does the RF leaves the AP? What's going on here? And this may be a review for most of you, but I hope that this is a really good slide to kind of capture here. I mean, when I see this, it's like I've got my access point, and I know that the further I get away from that access point and hit a wall, I start to lower the dB signal, right? The noise, how loud it is, and how it could speak. So think of it as I'm on the other in a room. I'm talking right now. I got the door closed. Well, there's like a dampening field. You can't really hear me on the other side of in the hallway. You can if you really listened, right? So you still be able to kind of get the conversation. So think of it as that way. And how thick is that wall? And here's kind of a dry wall to it, right? And every wall, no wall is created the same, right? They're all different, and they get more complex. Well, with us, with Ekahau, we have a lot of those built-in things in already in embedded in the software. We got a common wall materials. We can look at their average attenuations, and we can see, well, the difference between a drywall and exterior glass or solid wood door, and to name a few, right? So these are most common, but you can actually create your own, and you can even do it better with a Sidekick 2. So when you have a Sidekick 2 on hand, you're able to actually go and do a particular survey and then understand exactly what that wall metric looks like. Now, how cool is that? So this is all about understanding the kind of the materials. Now, we're talking about materials and we're talking about painting the coverage, but we also need to understand what the requirements are. So, I mean, Anna, when we look at this, right, we've got three big columns here that we're going to look at, right? I think you would agree is that, when we think of the business requirements, we've got to look at kind of the stakeholders. We need to understand what is the purpose of that Wi-Fi and what are those objectives that we need. And we need to do that and understand what the technical requirements are. The business does come first and what it needs, but also the what's key is the technical requirements, right? So from a understanding the AP vendor, what we're doing from a requirements area, and then regulatory domain. And then lastly, we're going to be looking at the RF requirements. Are we have the right coverage and SNR, right? The co-channel interference and those data rates. So those are key things to making sure that you understand how to get those requirements in. Now, of course, there's two paths towards a Wi-Fi design network. So today, if you have an existing infrastructure or existing network design, you can automatically we can do that today. Take your Sidekick for a walk, go out there, grab some data, and understand what's happening in the environment, and then create a map. Get going. You can even take that and then redesign that network with that data. And of course, from a new network design, you can equally do it from scratch, the traditional predictive modeling. So using the science and the math, right, to understand, hey, I know it's a wall. I may not know exactly what the attenuation is, but I can let the system design it for me, right? And we can do all of this in AI Pro Online, which is super cool because we can take what's out there today and then we can go into kind of a new design.
That's right. This one is really exciting is too. It's because, yeah, as we can see here, there are like two different paths on how we're going to do design. So I know for sure that there are still some existing networks wherein they wanted to upgrade, they wanted to redesign, but they approach it as a new network design. So they start from scratch, even though they already have the existing Wi-Fi infrastructure. Now with Ekahau, we're bringing you these two paths so that you'll know that if there is an existing Wi-Fi network already, then you don't have to start from scratch. You'll get more accurate results. You'll get more accurate design or redesign if you design from an existing network.
Absolutely. That's a great call out. So I'm going to switch, I'm going to do some magic here and try to get some screen switching here. And oops, there we go. And when you think about like the types of surveys that you can actually do, right? So we talk about kind of going out there and grabbing the data. Well, you can do it in a couple of different ways, right? So we have the traditional kind of like survey models here for every network environment. We've got our stop and go, where we can actually stop and collect data. This is can be repeatable. This is like every 5 seconds or to collect data. Then we have a continuous, which is the very traditional way is I'll click on a point and I'll just keep moving. And then I'll click every time I turn. Every time I turn or change position or pace, I need to click somewhere to tell it where I am. Now, that can be kind of tedious as well. And the autopilot, which we released a couple years ago, was an absolute game changer. And if you haven't tried it, I really implore you to actually try it. Calibrate your position on the floor and then walk. And then you're just surveying. So you're using actually the AR kit, which is built into the Apple devices to actually go and roam the floor. And of course, Just Go, which was released just last year, at the end of last year, is where we've taken to a next level of I don't need any floor plans where I'm going. I can actually use LiDAR to do that, right? So LiDAR will actually start mapping out. And if you've seen on one of my LinkedIn posts, I've actually done an actual survey in an outdoor in a hotel, right? Where I've actually walked out and planned that out. And I maybe if we've got some time at the end, I'll throw that in there. GPS. So if you have an outdoor environment, you're going to be looking at from an outdoor a venue of some sort, then yes, you can actually look at why you can look at a GPS and use GPS to do your survey there as well. So, and that can be done on an iPad or iPhone. And soon we were looking to support Android as well on that. But suffice to say, is all of the four features there are or the first three features are four, sorry, let's go back again. The first four features, these are all compatible with iOS devices, and GPS is also iOS. The first two, stop and go and continuous, we can still use on our desktop platform. And the stop and go and continuous are used on Android. We hope to get the autopilot functionality and Just Go for Android at some point later in the year, but it may come sooner than you think. All right. So let's talk about upgrading those networks based on measured data. So if we go out and grab that data and we actually have some measured data there that said, how can we use this? How can we transform this survey data into kind of that precise RF modeling, right? What does that look like how's that different upgrade scenarios? How do I use different, uh, the way the metrics that I'm grabbing from the field, how can I apply that to real life, right? And that's what we want to look at. And then we can understand how to replace those models. So if we go in and actually do a replacement, we can actually and then find out, hey, we're doing an upgrade, then we can go and understand that. So that's from an existing network design. And I'll show you a demo of that shortly. And of course, from a new design, obviously we're going to be looking at uploading plans. We're going to be looking at drawing some walls or actually doing automatic wall detection, which we're capable of doing. And then placing those walls and using AI assisted planning base to actually plan out that network. Isn't that cool? I don't have to actually place the APs on the network. And what you'll see is actually in that one slide, that one bullet there on number 3, that network there was actually designed by AI and it was actually implemented. So, and it worked very well. So that's just something just to give you an idea is that a AI implementation that's right there, it's actually worked in the field. Now that we looked at from upgrading and then designing, but we still also make sure that we, while we're doing this, we talked earlier about defining those network performance needs. We need to understand, are they video calls, large file sharing, video streaming? Are we looking into kind of the basic connectivity side of the house? And what does are we looking at it from a high speed perspective? We need to determine the right amount of access points for the connectivity requirements. So it's really important that we can do this. And this is a new feature that we've got added in here now. Actually, this is already in. The new feature is actually going to be added today, but you're going to see from a base properties from an area, we'll be able to understand based on the connectivity that I put in here, we're going to be able to design those networks. Now, talking about capacity planning, what's super new, it's lightning new, is we talked about it last webinar, is called capacity planning for AI Pro Online. Now, what you'll see here is this says coming soon, likely in a couple of hours. Like really, it will be coming in a couple of hours. So you guys actually get the heads up on this. We are releasing that, should be released shortly. So don't go check now. Well, you could probably check, but it'll actually be released shortly, probably sometime later in the day for you. But it will be released, and you'll get the first crack at actually trying this out. Now, what you do is you can go in, start your designs, and you can actually start looking at the capacity planning. And I'll show you the little bit demo of that as well in live in action, and where we can actually see the APs and start understanding capacity requirements based on what's out there in the field, right? We want to define the client requirements. We want to instantly visualize that capacity heat map, and we want to identify any potential bottlenecks for their occur. How's that, Anna? I've released something.
Bye.
This is a first for me, and I think this is a first. We've never released something in the
Same day.
evening in a outside of our global webinars. How about that? I think that's pretty cool. You
That,
guys are in for a treat. So you get something out of me tonight, so which is good.
that's right. So I was waiting. So when you flash the screen, capacity planning, I was waiting for the questions to come, like when it is coming. But now it's
Right?
already
I'm,
at
I'm
the
waiting for the questions. Where are they? I haven't seen it
So
yet.
for folks here, keep on refreshing after our
Yes.
webinar. Most probably you'll be able to see
Yep.
the capacity planning later.
Absolutely, yeah. And please, you can use the webinar chat as well, and love to hear from you guys. All right, so now, oh look at that, we did get one Q&A. This is pretty good. Thanks. Excellent. Okay, so this is good. So we've got some Q&A going in here. Thanks. When is it coming? In a couple of hours. So literally, probably you would see it shortly. So if you log into your Ekahau.cloud and open up one of your projects, you may end up start to see some of the new feature sets. But wait, there's more. That's not just this one I'm releasing. I'm releasing something else too. And that is actually our inspect tool on AI Pro Online. So this is actually even super cool. I think there was an animation there, but it's not playing, but that's okay. So this is actually super cool. If you look at from an inspect point of view at AI Pro Online, I can now click on the map and move it around, and it will show me the meters between the access points. It'll show me how I'm connecting, and it'll show me where the client is going to roam to. Isn't that cool? So now I'd be able to see while I'm clicking on there is where my primary AP is and where I'm going to roam to the next AP. Now that is actually probably something super cool that you guys should probably like, oh, what? That's yes, so that is actually on the way, like I say, like in a couple of hours. I'm hoping that it's going to be we'll make it at some point in this webinar, but now from
So
a
and maybe yeah.
yeah. So this is great because the inspect tool has been something that we've been working hard on from a perspective of our AI Pro Online, and we really wanted to get it right the first time. And so we were hoping to kind of get it earlier out in at Melbourne, Cisco Live Melbourne, but we just weren't quite happy with the results yet. And so we said, you know what, let's take a break. Let's focus over the Christmas break and figure out what we need to do here. And then we came back and all refreshed and said, you know what, this is how we're doing it. And that's to remember, folks, is that when we're planning out the tools and whatnot, we're actually making sure that we're getting them right. That's a great. I'm actually seeing this live in the chat, the way my windows are set up here, but What will be the hardware requirements of the laptop when it comes to the smooth users? You know what? Actually, in today's laptops, they've got quite a bit of power now. So if you've got at least 16 megs or 16 gigs or 32 gigs of memory. Oh, I said 16 megs. Wow, I'm dating myself. But if you've got a great video card, and we're going to start taking more advantage of your GPU as well. So when we're using the browser and using the calculations, so there's a lot more than what we were doing in the desktop version. So the AI Pro Online is actually using your resources much more efficiently than when we did in our previous version. Are these desktops available? Are these we do in the desktop tool? Yes, we still have the inspection tool, but we don't have the granularity of showing the kind of the roaming interface and the distance and stuff like that today. We do have the distance between APs and walls and whatnot, but look to as we grow within the AI Pro Online, we will then look to make a new desktop application later on. So as we get into our parity of everything we've got in the Air Pro Online, and we're comfortable, then we are going to shift and then update the desktop version so that you've got more clarity there. Ah, yes. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I love Sean's comment. Why don't you just hold on for that thought until the till a little later? But yes, that's a great call out. All right. So talk about that and we'll show a little bit. I'll try to get the live demo in here. But this is another one that's kind of cool. And I figured, well, let's just show this. So the 3D view is what we're looking at. But we've kind of done something a little bit cooler. And let me see if I can bring this up here. And it's hiding in another window. And I think you'll love it. Where is it here? That is kind of what we would see from a 3D view. But wouldn't it be cool if it was actually even better than that? So let's move that over to the screen here, and I'm going to
I'm
uh,
sure everyone is looking forward.
right. They're
Everyone,
probably like when it was like, "What are you going to show next?" Is what they're probably saying.
right,
Yeah.
that's right.
So let's
Everyone
do this.
loves
Yes.
3D for sure. So
Right.
most probably everyone is looking forward to what you're gonna showcase next.
Yes. So now we're taking it a little bit deeper into kind of the 3D perspective. So I just captured this video because I couldn't quite put it into the animated GIF on the slide. But have a look at this, folks. And this should be actually playing now for you. And I'm hoping this is playing live. So now look at how the refining the details we can get now within the 3D environment. So my fellow colleague Matt Starling, he actually put this together, and he made this where he actually classified all of the areas of the desks, the and any seating arrangements and any types of other obstacles and attenuation areas. So this is a new feature that we released just last week, and I just lost my where did it go? It went hiding. Look at that. I'll bring it back in a second. And let's bring that back. There we go. And we'll let that play again. So that feature was released already last month, and that is where you can actually put in the attenuation objects, and you should have a lot of fun with that because it actually breaks out and opens up some of the new features there. Yeah. All right. Excellent. Okay, so that is kind of some of the fun stuff, right? So let's go there. And it looks like every time it plays a video, it likes to close it, but that's okay. Well, we're now going to shift over here. Perfect. And you see that nice kind of beach scene. Let's get back into that. Now, as we go into a couple of those things, I'm going to hold there because I believe the next two, so we're going to hold off on those screens for just a second, and we're going to go right into let's get into the demo piece here, and we're going to show you one of,
And while you're pulling that up, if
yeah,
you 3D view, the video
yep.
looks so shiny, looks very fancy, and I just want to reiterate that for those who has been asking, I can see some of the attendee name here that who's been bugging me for a while about the 3D view. I kept on telling you that there would be more enhancements on the 3D view. So now you've took a look of it, so you saw what's coming. So hopefully that is something that satisfies you.
Absolutely, yeah. And I just rudimentally got this done really quickly here. This is actually from an actual survey. So and then I drew the walls in like with the tool. It just drew them in for me automatically. I didn't have to actually draw them. So it did it for me. And then it created that 3D environment. So it understood, where the windows were, where the doors, all that stuff is in there. And then I started adding in some attenuation areas just quickly, right? And to do that. And if you want to do that yourself from an attenuation area, you can simply do that by actually going up into the wall tool here and hit attenuation object, right? So when you go into the object side, all you want to do is then go ahead and create the area. So in this particular instance, I know that there is there's a large, use my mouse here, and I'm going to say it's a piece of furniture, right? And I know that this is here, and I can actually tell you what the height of this is as well. And so now that that's in there, I can then actually adjust the height of this. So I know that the object height is only 3.28 feet. And well, sorry, it's in Imperial here, but this is showing me that it is kind of like a box. So it is a countertop, and that's in there. Now, once I actually go in and look at that, then you'll see that that object is now set at that counter height. So that is important, because then if I know I have a lot of other things in here, you can see how the antenna pattern is actually starting to actually show a form around that object. As when we are measuring 3.28 feet, right, around here, that's for the client. So it's important that when we have objects in there, that the APs are cognitive of like, yes, no, you're going to have something's going to happen in there. All right, so that was kind of a look at kind of from a 3D piece view. Now, obviously, when you connect your access points here, maybe we already have some 9166s in here, and then we've got them. But what if we wanted to go and quickly redesign that? So this is a tool where I can select all of the access points. Maybe these ones here that are deployed. I may want to actually try a different model. Maybe I want to try an Aruba. Maybe I want to try one of the new Wi-Fi 7 access points, right? So let's do that. So let's go look at that. And Cisco, we'll do the 78 series, right? That was actually cool. 91, 76, 78, and the D1. Now let's go in and change that. So now it automatically, within a flash, it changed those APs. They're all changed. I didn't have to do anything. And what you can see here, it actually changed the channels as well. So it hasn't changed the channels yet because I have to select it out, and then it will kick over and then adjust the channels. So I'll just go ahead and then adjust that, and then I will optimize that for me. And then perfect. And now it's actually turned off channels as well because I switched to the manufacturer, and it left it at 80 on 6 gigahertz here. And so that's good. So now it's showing me that I was switching models, that I've got my channel plan is done, and I'm looking at the new features. Now, let's see, is the capacity planning turned on yet? No, it's not. However, we can actually show you what that is, and that one will be yeah, actually over here, I can do that. This just happens to be in capacity planning. So now I can actually go ahead and, oops, not on the inspection tool. Is it capacity planning labeled here? Oh, I wish, no, it's not there yet, but it will be enabled. It is. So I was hoping to show you kind of the capacity planning piece here, but it's not quite ready yet on this one. So, but from the demo I have that. Oh, actually, it is ready. Okay, it is appearing now. Okay, so that's fine. So under the areas that are detect, I can then go in and add the specific clients, and then the type of traffic that it is. So if it's from excuse me, I'm on the wrong screen here because you guys aren't seeing me properly. And then what we can do here is that when we're looking at specific areas, I can actually say, okay, I want high video calls, this area for these clients. Maybe this traffic here is I want it high, or I want to customize those devices as well. I can go in and add specific devices and what kind of the client max per radio. So I can go and add these things in and then change those requirements, even add in a new profile. We also have even high-speed connectivity, basic as well. So these are some things that you can actually pre-program in the area and then understand if you have the right amount of signal coverage for secondary, and of course you got the right capacity planning as well. Now notice something cool. Notice that there's actually client counts here, right? So we've got client counts here showing us what the clients are on these access points for this particular office. Now, I want to stress here that the scale of this map is not specific because I just threw it in here quickly and just for this demo, but it's actually slightly different here. But I wanted to just get this in here just so you could see it. And that particular piece here from a client perspective on capacity planning. Now, what we wanted to do was let's show you kind of that inspect tool. How does that inspect tool work today, right? So from an inspection tool, and I'm going to turn off the walls here so we can have some fun. But notice how I'm live moving and I'm going actually doing the actual moving my actual inspection tool. And notice how, if you look carefully, you can see where the roaming is. The client is expected to roam up to this from one APD so it's connected. And now when I move it down closer to the secondary AP, it says, hey, there's a roaming. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Boom. And then that is on whatever it is on from that particular signal. I can move over here as well. And the same. So you'll be able to see that kind of roaming happen between the access points. This is a really cool feature. Test it out, folks. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. And I'm really curious to see what you guys all think about it and using that there. All right. Looks like we've got oh, perfect. We've got some folks interacting here now. The next part of this is that we're showing kind of from the capacity plan inspection tool. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of cover here is to kind of go through a little bit of understanding another new piece here is that I can show you another little cool tool that we've got coming. We've got kind of a from an inspection tool, but we also actually will be working on shortly is understanding metrics, and we previewed it from one of our last webinars, actually viewing live network pieces as well. So when you want to look at kind of what a live network is doing, and that's hence why I had that access point demo up there, is wouldn't it be great to actually click on a button and grab details from my own Meraki network? Isn't that cool? So pretty soon, you guys will be able to actually see kind of a live network view. Now, what you're seeing here, this is my network at home. I've got 16 clients attached to this access point here, and you can see that. I got 9 over here, 10 over there, and 0 on this one. Well, this one's not doing anything. What's cool here is that we can actually see where the clients are and what they're connected at, and you'll be able to see a little bit more detail on those clients as well soon. So this is a really cool feature set to kind of get some live statistics right away, right out of your environment. So I imagine that the kind of the possibilities that you have there.
Wow. Hang on, Stu. So you
Yep.
mean in the future, we will be able to get information from from the access point controller, and then
Yes,
we can view it in Ekahau APAC Pro Online.
that is correct. Yes.
Even to the level of how many clients are connected to that access point.
That's right. Yep. So I can see from this one here. Okay, I don't have 6 gigahertz on this one, but I have it on this one, and I'm seeing what is happening on those APs. Yes. So this is really cool because I've always wanted to kind of see this in our dashboards, and how can I see this today? And so this is something that we've got working on. So I was
Very.
happy to kind of briefly share that with you, just so you can actually
I
see.
think I think Stu has been sharing a lot of stuffs that we aren't supposed to know yet. So
Oh,
we're
you're supposed to know it. Yeah, you're okay. We made mention of it on our previous webinar that it's happening, but it's really good to kind of show you, just to pull out a little bit of the stops and show you some of the cool stuff that we're definitely working on.
really
Yep,
cool stuff.
yep, yep, for sure. So I think with that, I want to actually kind of focus back and circle back on a couple of different things. I know that, and I can't show you that. I'm going to show you something else. And where are we going to go back? We're going to go back into another piece here. And what I want to do is, let me get in here. Perfect. Let's do that. Okay. So one of the other thing, what we're going to do for our nature of time here, and I think we're getting close to our time, is I want to circle back, and if I can get my screen to change, and that's what I'm trying to do. This is the art of working on the fly. I need to get one of those Elgato Stream Deck buttons because that's what Matt has, and you can kind of like zip through these things pretty quick. I'm doing kind of in a manual perspective here. Um, let's focus on kind of changing gears here. I hope that actually you guys got some really good uh, some views out of some of the things that we're doing and what's going to be available to you guys shortly. And I'm really excited and I would love the feedback. Now, where are we going from here? Well, if you haven't seen already, outside of our AI Pro Online feature set, is the Ekahau Analyzer. So, Analyzer got an overhaul not too long ago, and we've actually implemented speed tests. So, if you use speed test today to go and check your internet speed, well, speed test is actually part of Ookla, which is under the into the Ekahau Ookla branding, right? So, speed test is part of our family along with down detector as well. And one of the things that we're doing here is we've got speed tests integrated right in there. So when you want to do your testing, you want to see what's going on in the spectrum environment, then look no further than, of course, then look no further than using Ekahau Analyzer for that. It takes advantage of of course, the Ekahau Sidekick as well to help you along with that. Now, what does it look like in real time, right? So when here we're going to be testing what a boring network is, right? So this network here is pretty like 5 megas is but it's actually going to showing you where you've got some speed issues, right? Now your APs could be great, but now it's not your APs that's the problem. Everybody complains it's the Wi-Fi, but really it's not. And this is where we can kind of look at it. Say, look, your Wi-Fi is great, but it's your ISP is the problem, right? Or it's the firewall, it's that last mile going, or that other additional hop going forward. And that's the things that you want to definitely look at because those are the important things. So when you're doing tests, and we're also going to be doing from a speed test, which is also this is live today. This is a live tool. And also, which is coming, is the video side of it because we want to look more into the kind of the video aspect of it. And then last but not least, we will be, and I don't have a slide deck here for this one, but it's actually down detector. So down detector will be also integrated into Analyzer. That's going to give you another further visibility on what's like websites. Are they down? Can you report them? This will be great because if you have clients in the field that are looking at applications that may not be working, well, you can simply just go to one more screen within Analyzer and look at down detector and look to see it, if that application is working or not. One case in point, I was out in the field and Slack wasn't working. It just happened to be not working. It was down. And I was at an event and we're like, okay, Slack. And I noticed like other people at the event were trying to use Slack for their company purposes. And they was down and Microsoft was down. And then all of a sudden Amazon was down. And then I just like, you know what? I'm just going to go look at down detector. And then I saw the other folks look using it as well. And I said, you know what? Yeah, that's our tool actually showed us that right away. Right. And they were surprised at like, what, you guys own that tool? Yes, we do. And it was really cool to actually hear that story from other customers that they use down detector. And sure enough, like, it's not the Wi-Fi. It was just the network somewhere else as an outage, right? And so the moral of the story is check your Wi-Fi. Is it great? Perfect. Nothing's changed. It's going to be somewhere upstream somewhere. And it could even be in your own network, right? Great. So there's a question here I think we wanted to get from Abdul. What's Abdul got to say there, Anna? I think it's in the chat there. It was like it just moved away quickly.
Yes. Right. All these new features are available only on Ekahau Cloud or can be seen on Ekahau AI Pro application too.
Great question. So this is actually all the new features are Ekahau Cloud based. So the from the application perspective of what was I was showing earlier, that's only in AI Pro Online. So the desktop feature, no, but we are enhancing a few feature sets in there that we will talk about on our next webinar. A couple of product enhancements as well, but we are pushing a lot more feature sets through the cloud functionality today. Excellent. And as I see the cloud in here, perfect. Okay, so that is kind of from a speed test perspective. And then of course, finally we have I just wanted to kind of call out some of our ECSE training. And just before we end off on kind of ECSE training, whatnot, I do want to actually show you a couple of a couple of designs I should be able to show you here as well in just a second. But from a instructor led, if you are looking to get kind of trained up on Ekahau and become certified and be part of the kind of the design troubleshooting and advanced badges on your LinkedIn profile, it's a great way to look at getting some. And it's a 4-day instructor led course. From a design perspective, you're going to learn all the fundamentals of Wi-Fi, help you from a design perspective. We give you that kind of that base knowledge to get you started. And then, of course, the troubleshooting goes into a little bit more in depth, and then advanced course as well that takes it even more complex and reporting and whatnot. And of course, we do have recertification for those that are already certified, or maybe one of your certs expired. Well, you can take a troubleshooting advance, and then it will recertify that other exam that you've already taken. Okay. And then, of course, another actually new one here is what we do have as a self-paced on video is actually the security side and measure and security. Now, security is actually really cool because this was actually put together by one of our security professionals, and then and that's been actually a really cool course. And we talked about it on a webinar a little while back, but definitely look into kind of from the security aspect there. I think there was a couple of Q&A questions that just popped up there. Do you get anything that we want to put in live here? Hang on. Drag out cloud as far as storage. Oh, okay. Yes. You know what? I can take that question there from Peter. Thanks, Raymond. So for flagging that. So the crazy question is, can we create folders in our Ekahau Cloud and storage and sort the surveys into custom customer groups? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let's show you what you can do today, and then I'm going to show you where what we are going to be doing with that. Okay, so the question is that do we have, and I'll open this up here. So we have from a sharing perspective today, what you've got is you can create folders for your projects and your sites. And then you can throw in any of those projects within that folder group. Now, in AI Pro Desktop, it doesn't actually show it like this as well. It just sees all the projects, but this is a little bit different because it's an AI Pro Online. So our strategy here is that we have the folders that are started here. We have different test sites that I can put in here, and I just created one for different things, and then I can grab them. Now, from an X perspective, is that can we start doing share the entire folder? Can we share the entire project to some other group and stuff like that? Those things are coming. They are on the way. So a little bit more granularity of coming from a sharing perspective into sharing with my groups and specific groups that would have access to that. So yes, those things are those actually are on the way. Absolutely. Yeah, great question there.
So another great question that I got here is too from Aaron.
Yep.
So does the live network only limited to Cisco Meraki for now, or this compatibility will be extended to other AP vendors in the future? Aruba for
Yes, it will be expanded. Yes, absolutely. I was just showing what I had access to from an API engine. I know it works on the Meraki dashboard. It may actually also work on the Catalyst Center API, and I haven't tested it yet if it works on Aruba or Mist, but stay tuned for more on that. And I'll have to log into another project that has some Aruba stuff and then see if it actually kicks in there for me. But I do know it works because I just happen to have that here at the house, at the home lab. So yes, definitely. That's a great call out though, because when we look at making sure that we're being agnostic to all the vendors, we make sure that we're talking to all of them, right? And so that's something that we've always strived through to make sure that we've got those things covered as well. If you haven't gone through the navigating the dashboard here, there's always a what's new button here that'll take you into some of the new things that are what's new, and you will actually, and this will get updated actually as of tomorrow or later on tonight. For you guys, you'll see the new options that I just released to you guys today. Yeah. Perfect. So that is in there. The other particular piece for if you're doing from integration of the dashboards, it's still part of the insights portion. So if you are on, you click on the insights dashboard, and then if you have a specific network and it'll open up in here, and I have, billions of projects in here and whatnot. And I'm gonna pause just for a second so that we can go into what do we got here. I know what we're using, that's fine. And let's go into, yeah, this is actually kind of, if there's something from an integration perspective, this is me just doing a quick test, but you will show an integration button here, and then it will actually come back and tell you, okay, you need to go into a specific network. If I have a specific network that I've got, and I have all the kind of access points here, and I know what I surveyed, and because it knows that are Meraki access points and knows what they are, this is when I can use the integration button here and then export my project. I can export the project, putting the API key. It'll automatically plan that out, and it'll send that off to the dashboard. So that is something that is quite simple to do, and it'll show you where the map is, where it is on the Meraki dashboard, and then you can get off to the races. And you can use this for your zero provisioning data as well. So if you want to do zero touch provisioning, you can actually do that as well. And you've got your optimization piece as well. So if you need to optimize your current network, we can actually show you that here. So your optimizations will also come in, and this is the same with AI Pro Online or with a desktop, right? Or using the Measure app, right? You're using your survey app. This will all come into place, and it will tell you, do you need to improve things? Yes. Do I need better coverage? Sure. Right? Do I need to change the MBR? Sure. Is there any mitigate any interferes? Yes, and it'll show me where we've got some interferes from a test perspective, right? And this is all kind of we did some tests here to kind of to show us all that. So it definitely gives you that action plan that you want to be looking at, and then of course you can go from there. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining, and we will call it a webinar.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.